That's all I had. Did I?
Question.
Okay.
Councilor McGinley, you mentioned talk about an extended leave policy. What is that?
Yeah, so the Housing Authority has brought a resolution to the board adopting a new extended leave policy for their employees. This is something that they've talked at length about. Really, Jason came up with a request and there wasn't a policy, so it enticed the board to create a new policy. And part of the board's reasoning is that it's really a great employee retention tool. So after, I think it's 7 years as an employee with the Housing Authority, you are allowed to take a maximum of 11 weeks, one time only, even if you've worked there for 20 years. As a way to help with burnout and things like that, because in that kind of service job, the typical lifespan in that role is 7 years. So it's a way to try to keep people around.
Paid or unpaid?
So it would be paid time, and it would be 11 weeks total, with 5 of those being like if you had PTO, or five would be paid. So 5 weeks paid, and then you could add up to 11 total weeks.
Does the city have this policy?
No.
So the city doesn't have this policy, but the housing authority is creating this policy. Do we have a retention problem at the authority?
It's not so much that I think that there's an issue right now, but it's an issue of, do they want to be an employer that has this kind of policy, so that people could take some time. It's similar to like a sabbatical policy, and a lot of kind of public roles don't make as much money. Often they have better benefits to help offset that, and this is one of those ways to kind of add to their benefits policy.
I will say I feel a sense of responsibility. This does not seem very appropriate. You said Jason raised this. I know he's taking an extended leave. He's in a position to raise this to the board to change this policy in his own benefit. I don't know about the rest of council, but like this doesn't really feel that appropriate. It's very specific. We don't need to get into the details, but I do feel a sense of responsibility. This isn't done at the city. This is being done in this one unique scenario. It does not feel right.
I don't think it's any of our business.
I was just going to ask Dan, in terms of what authority does the city or the county have over a policy such as this? And we can just take a couple minutes, and if we need to, and if council is interested, we can bring it back as an agenda item.
You have the power to appoint and remove board members, and you also have the power to appoint a council representative to the board.
Mm-hmm.
So I did, bring up a lot of concerns. I was kind of the vocal voice bringing up concerns at the board level. Jason's in a very important role, and I was worried about, this year, what do we have coming up? And kind of the argument was that no one person should be so important in an organization that the organization can't operate without them, forever. Like, obviously you need a director, but that the organization should be able to do okay for a short period of time while somebody takes leave. And again, this isn't every year. This isn't every employee every year. They're very strict in the policy that it's not a guarantee, it's a privilege. And I think, Jason's been under a lot of pressure the past few years, and he kind of needs a little reprieve looking into next year, and that there could be a new annexation and votes and all the things that are coming down the wire. He really wants to be recharged. So it's kind of a tool to help support him in that.
Okay, let's, is anybody else like to make a comment or have questions?
But also, I'm sorry, I just want to add one more thing. The reason for the policy too is that this isn't just for Jason, right? It needs to be fair that this is for all the employees of the Housing Authority. And it was also brought up, this helped me understand it a little more and support it, that there are other groups within our community that I've heard that have a similar policy to retain people that, aren't maybe, that need some time away.
Okay.
I would just say that is consistent with a lot of nonprofits. They offer
Not a
sabbaticals.
nonprofit.
Well, I know.
They use taxpayer funds. This is not a policy of the city. It's not a nonprofit.
Okay, let's, you know what? Yeah, I think I hear your concerns.
Okay, I
So-
will just end this by saying I'm very concerned that no other council members are raising this concern. Nobody is joining me in agreeing this. We have a duty to responsibility for taxpayer funds. I will end it there.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilor Swintek. Okay, with that, let's go ahead and move on to our agenda review. Again, hopefully we